Hello, everyone, and welcome to a fantasy football tournament. Today, I have for you the Scandinavian Cup. I like to be creative and bold and adventurous, and this is just part of a series that I am making. This would be a fictional cup that takes place just between the Northern European Nordic uh, region of Scandinavia, and the participants would be Iceland, Norway, Finland, Sweden, the Faroe Islands, and Denmark. There are 5 nations in the region of Scandinavia. Finland is not one of them, but I wanted a nice even round number for this tournament, and Finland is geographically located very close to Scandinavia, even though the culture is very different. But this is a tournament featuring countries of similar Nordic culture. You don't know what Nords are, think of like Vikings. And Northern European, like the really nice countries. So let's jump right in. And in this tournament format, I have every team in each group playing each other twice, home and away. There is no host nation. The 2 best with the best record advance. Semifinals is also 2-legged as well as the final. So let's get into it. Group A, Iceland, Norway, and Finland. The opening match here would be Iceland against Norway. And I think Iceland would win. The next match would be Norway against Finland. And I think Norway would win. Next one is Finland and Iceland. And here I think we could see an upset. I think Finland would win because I think they would get revenge from almost defeating Iceland back during World Cup qualification. And if this happens, all 3 teams will be level on 3 points each. But we're not done yet. The next match would be Iceland against Finland in the return leg. And here I think Iceland would win. Then we would have Finland against Norway. And I'm going to pick Finland to win. I know Norway is a better team than Finland, but because they've been on the decline in recent years, they're not by much, and I could see Finland getting an upset here. So I'm actually picking Finland to win both of their home games. I think they would beat Norway. Moving on, the last game in this group would be Norway against Iceland. And here I think we would have our first draw of the group. I think this would end in a tie. So where does that leave us after everyone has played each other home and away? That leaves us with Iceland on top of the group with 7 points. Finland right behind them in second, the surprise team of the tournament with 6 points. And Norway in last with 4 points. And that means Norway would be eliminated from the Scandinavian Cup. So advancing to the semifinals, Iceland and Finland. Now moving over to Group B. Sweden, the Faroe Islands, and Denmark. First match would be Sweden versus the Faroe Islands. And I think Sweden would win that game comfortably. Then we have Faroe Islands against Denmark. And I actually see the Faroe Islands holding off the Danes here and getting a point. I do think the Faroe Islands would get a draw here at home against Denmark. Then we would have Denmark versus Sweden. This would be a true Scandinavian clash of neighbors, rivals. Here I think Denmark would get the home win. I do. Then the return leg between Sweden and Denmark. Same 2 teams. I think Sweden would win. Then we have Denmark against the Faroe Islands. I think Denmark would right the wrong they had on the road in the Faroes, and I think Denmark would win. And last but not least, we have the Faroe Islands against Sweden. I think the Faroe Islands would put up a valiant effort here, but I think Sweden would win. Which means, at the end of all these matches, Sweden would win Group B with 9 points. Denmark would be behind them with 7. And the Faroe Islands would have just 1 point. 9, 7, and 1. Which means the Faroe Islands are eliminated. So here are our semifinals, guys. The semifinals would then be Iceland against Denmark, and Sweden against Finland. Now, whatever order these two draws take place in, it is what it is. So, let's say the first leg is in Denmark, the second is in Iceland. Denmark versus Iceland. I think this would end in a draw. In fact, I'm going to go with I'm going to go with like a 1-1 or a 2-2 draw. First leg between Finland and Sweden. I see Finland putting up a valiant effort here, but I think Sweden would narrowly win this like 2-1. Denmark versus Iceland, the return leg in Iceland. I would see Iceland winning this 2-1. And Iceland would advance to the final on aggregate 4-3. Iceland to the final, Denmark to the third place game. Second leg between Sweden and Finland. I think Sweden would win again, and I think they'd win, let's say 3-1. So Sweden would advance 5-2 on aggregate to the final. The third place two-legged playoff between Denmark and Finland. First leg, let's say the first leg. I think this would be a draw. And I think this would be a high-scoring draw. I think this would be like 3-3. And then in the return leg, I think Denmark wins 2-1. And I think it would be 5-4 on aggregate. Denmark would win the bronze medal of the Scandinavian Cup. Finland in fourth place. So then the final. Let's say the draw puts Iceland at home first and Sweden on the road. This is tricky. I think the first leg here would be a 0-0 draw, because I think it would be very tight. 0-0. And the final leg, Sweden versus Iceland. Sweden at home. I think this would be another draw, but I think this would be a 1-1 tight, close-knit affair. So what does that mean after two draws between the two finalists? Well, by the very narrowest of margins, Iceland would be the champions of the first Scandinavian Cup by virtue of the away goals rule. 1-1 away goals. Champions, first place Iceland. Second is Sweden. Third is Denmark. Fourth is Finland. This is my result of the Scandinavian Cup, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Until then, have a good day. Much love. Peace out.